speak here. But yeah, so who knows what growth hacking is? Raise a show of hands. Yeah? It's kind of a dying term. It's really difficult for me because before it came around, we called it aggressive online marketing. But basically, it's a scientific approach to marketing. It's about being very data-driven. It's about growing your business without a huge advertising budget. If you have a bunch of money to throw at Facebook ads, you don't really care about this stuff. But the reality is when you're starting your business, you need to realize that you have a time budget and you need to spend that as efficiently as your money, and you need to know what's working so you can scale that up so that you can go get that traction and raise the money that you need. So I'm an expert at doing that. I've taken 3 companies from no budgets to multi-million-dollar exits without raising an A round, one of which was an Israeli-founded startup called Allset, 500 startups, batch 7 in San Francisco, and 2 of the first big startup exits in Dubai, where I started my career a long time ago. So yeah, this year I've been on a speaking tour since December. This is like my 15th country or something. And everybody knows that Israel and Tel Aviv is the highest percentage of startup founders in the world. So I was like, gotta go there. Been a few times, but only for pleasure. So this is nice to like mix it up. Basically, yeah, I'm gonna go through about 5 or so strategies that I've used that will work for growing your business without any spend. And unique approaches to things like PR, social media. We're gonna talk about some tools that you can use to make free tools that you can use to scale these channels up. And at the end, I'm going to try and upsell you to buying my course. No, I'm kidding. I might email you some info later if it works. But let's see here. Before we get into like the actual strategies, is this thing I realized when I was in San Francisco for 5 or 6 years after being in other startup environments around the world. Is there's a focus there that's different, and there's several reasons why 70% of all the startup investment in the whole world is in this one area. And it's not just because people who already get traction move there because there's funding there. It's really a shared ethos. Everybody is focused on creating value. They're solving problems. They're not just trying to make money. That's very different, especially here. I mean, where it's really focused on enterprise and B2B, which is great. And Israel's famous for the startups that aren't super sexy, but they make tons of money, and that's awesome. But the bottom line is, if you're not focused on solving a problem, you're probably not focused on the right thing, on the right project. And I'm going to talk about a couple things after consulting on dozens of projects that I see lining up between every startup that ends up raising tons of money or exiting or lasting past that 2-year. It's pretty much that easy, right? If you're not data-driven, then you're going by your gut too much, you're just going to make tons more mistakes, right? So you should test everything, even if it's just with a little bit of budget or a little bit of your time. Start to get that data in, realize what's working, or if it's not working, try not to let it be confirmation bias, like too quickly make that decision. But you should test it. There's no such thing as stupid ideas. Some of my most successful growth hacks started as really stupid ideas that I was embarrassingly suggesting to the dev team that, hey, what about this idea? You're dumb. You don't understand how tech works. That's not a good idea. Oh, how about this? How about that? And then the 3rd time, because I never get embarrassed about anything, that was a really good idea. We should do that. And then it was a massive hockey stick growth moment. So the other thing is, like when I'm talking about value, growth happens when you create a ton more value than anybody else for that right target. So product market fit, it's the same thing for your marketing. You're figuring out ways to get that value in front of more people. And then another thing is, there's no such thing as spam if you're creating enough value. If you're really trying to solve a problem and you're really sure that your product is creating that value, then you should be very aggressive. You can hear how I talk right now, even after 12 hours of touristing around. I'm super tired, but I'm passionate about this. So if you're passionate about what you work on, then you should be really aggressive and not worried about spamming people your message, because there's a lot of value there. Like, I can't really think of a great example for Tel Aviv, but if you get a message that's unsolicited, but it has something, maybe it's free bird credit for a year or whatever, if there's enough value in the message, you're going to positively receive that message. So instead of worrying about how you target people, worry about how much value you're creating. And that's going to be a sentiment overall that I'm going to keep repeating, is focusing on value, because when you do that, your marketing becomes much easier. If your product is creating a ton of value, then the marketing kind of just falls in place, right? So then obviously the last thing is, test it. If it's working, do it more. That seems obvious, but it's not.